Hey guys, I'm actually feeling good. I did pick Tsitsipas to win the Australian Open. I'm a Nadal fan, but I'm a lot of fans of everybody. So for me, I don't take it hard like some of you guys.
Yeah, right. That's still her boy, though.
No, but who did I pick?
You picked 65.
Exactly. I said, Nadal never had a tough match. I'm not. Do you see me in tears?
Well,
no. I mean, come on.
We hadn't even started yet. We're ready to dig into each other.
Well, no, they're already digging into. I'm very good. As a matter of fact,
she deserves that. She deserves. I'm kidding.
I actually picked Tsitsipas. I love Tsitsipas. So for me, either way, I'm good.
Yeah, truth be told, she picked.
I really didn't have a problem with this. To me, it wasn't sad because it'd be different if it was a French Open. But Nadal, I never really pick him at an Australian Open. Never.
He's won it once, so.
Exactly. That's why.
All right, you ready to roll?
Yep.
Let's lock in.
Sure.
It's all business from here forward. All right. Yep. So separation of personal relationships, because I'm ready.
Yeah, it's fine.
Let's
and
go.
No drama on this match, by the way. No injuries, no drama. They played like warriors.
All right, hello and welcome back to another 5K tennis discussion. Today is the day 10 recap. So we are done with the quarterfinals and moving into the semifinals. As usual, if this video cuts out, we're really good at our videos cutting out. It's because of where we live and the inconsistency of the internet connection. If we cut out, hang tight, I'll try to resume it. If not, pause for a little bit, refresh the channel, whatever, however it works, and we will start a part 2. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. We will be doing a random give out for the semifinals and the finals. The only qualification is hit the subscribe button. I will do a tennis racket giveaway and fantasy team update at the end of this video, which is huge because someone by the name of Millennium 13 Constantine is making a deep charge. So we'll talk about that at the end of the show. But Carla and I wanted to start today's show with some shout outs. First and foremost, Carla has a dear friend that she grew up with who is a neurologist, physician in New York, and was hospitalized because of some COVID-19, I guess you could say implications.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Philip Dion. I didn't know he had COVID. He said he had COVID in January and ended up in the hospital, and then he went through dialysis and now has surgery in 2 months, a couple months, and he said he's happy to be well and alive. So obviously this thing is real serious. Here's this guy who's young, in shape,
doctor,
plays tennis, healthy lifestyle, promotes healthy lifestyle. I'm so sorry, Philip. I didn't know. I had no clue he went through this.
Yeah, much love to you, Philip. I know you're a great friend to Carla. Hopefully we can cross paths one day as this obstacle in your life transpires. Mm-hmm. I wanted to give a shout out to Jack Nolte. Number one, I don't think I've ever given him a shout out. We talk a lot. He watched or chatted with me throughout some matches last night. Wanted to give a shout out to FB, that's Foxtrot Bravo, FB Lota, a new subscriber from the Philippines. We know Flora Moore is one of our subscribers from the Philippines, wonderful young lady. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to Cam Williams. Last night, Carla and I went to bed kind of early here in the U.S., and we woke up for a couple of matches, and Cam kept us up working throughout the night. I did ask him why he didn't do the Barty, being that he's from Australia, and this was a wonderful thing he said. He told me that it's his fans that are number one, and they voted for a different match, so bravo to Cam for being more dedicated to his fans than his own thoughts. So I think that's a wonderful thing. Sorry Barty lost. We will talk about that. Shout out as well to Wainam Chia, to Tara.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Gene, for moderating. You did such a great job.
Gene Swart, big time, fine young man, great tennis mind. Don't forget, Gene. If I can send you something, I'll send it to you and just let your mom know it's coming. B-Dog02, what's up? My number one brother right there. And that's it. There's a lot more, but those are the people that from yesterday after the show were really, really integral in today. So with that said.
Well, let's start out with Sophia Kennan too. She had an emergency appendicitis while being in Australia, which could explain a lot of things, right? I mean, maybe she wasn't feeling well, never said anything.
Yeah, if you have emergency appendicitis surgery, generally, and maybe if Philip's out there, he can answer this because he's a surgeon, or my father, one of the two. But I think if you have an emergency appendicitis surgery, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the appendix has ruptured, and therefore it can kill you. So maybe this is telling a little bit of tale of what's been going on with Ken. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe my dad out there, a physician, or Philip can chip in on that because I don't know the answer to the question.
Mm.
All right, so we're ready to go. Hopefully Kenan feels good, but let's start with the Nadal and Tsitsipas match.
Yeah.
Carla, I know you have watched
Well,
this.
the only reason I slowed it down, it's on 10 seconds actually, delay team grows.
It's 15. It's 15.
Oh, you put it 15. They said maybe 5 next time, not 15.
Okay.
Well, the reason why is because so many things, and then I try to get to questions, and I can't get to your questions because my screen is going like this.
Yeah, no, this is excellent. We just experimented with this on yesterday's show. Carla, and you gotta love her for this.
The day before.
She was kind of upset that there were so many good questions and so many good topics, but because they were coming so fast, she couldn't go back and see them. It wouldn't allow her to go back so far, I guess, something like that.
Yeah.
Don't know. But we're trying to figure that out so we can answer more of your questions. And
I'd rather answer your questions and see what you guys are asking. And me going like this, it's tough when Justin's talking to me and I'm trying to look at my book as well.
All right, Nadal Tsitsipas match. You started.
Yeah. I got to watch it this morning. I didn't watch it last night. I'll be truthful. I went to bed after the Brady match. And so I watched the matches. You can go back on ESPN and replay. I watched the first and second set. Routine for Nadal. 2 and 3. Routine. And then something happened in that tiebreaker where I wrote down tiebreaker. They go to a tiebreaker. It's 1-0 Nadal. He misses an overhead. An overhead that he barely misses. He's great at these overheads.
Didn't I read he missed a multiple overheads?
Multiple overheads. Then it's, so he misses that 2-1. He misses a backhand, misses another overhead. It's like the unforced errors were just popping up. But let's give credit to Tsitsipas. He was playing very aggressive tennis. Beautiful backhand. He comes to the net a lot. I mean, he was toe-to-toe with this guy, winning the rallies, right? Side to side, side to side. You could see Nadal was frustrated. 4-3, another enforced error, and Tsitsipas wins that set. 4th set, Tsitsipas starts hitting his backhand clean, really clean. I mean, flattens it out. I mean, it was 1-2-3 punch. 1-2-3 punch for him. You can see, I put here, Tsitsipas hits his backhand clean. He gets a coaching violation, by the way, in the 4th set.
Not the first time that's happened.
Yeah.
The Tsitsipas team is really good about coaching from the sidelines. That was a deserved warning. It's pretty apparent that team does that a lot.
Yeah.
No, it's no secret.
Yeah, he gets a coaching violation. Then he breaks Nadal at 4-4. I wrote here. You see Nadal talking to himself, shaking his head, frustrated. His forehands are shanking. His backhands are shanking. He's missing the shots, not by much, just by very little. And Tsitsipas, in my opinion, he played that 4th set better than Nadal. And he was just aggressive. This is why I picked him to win the Australian Open. I thought, here's this younger guy. My dad made a good point this morning. Nadal is older. He's put a lot of miles on his legs. Tsitsipas is younger. He can keep going longer in the rallies. He has a one-handed backhand, a good reach. He's a tall guy. He comes to the net. He's not scared. He is not scared. He didn't play Nadal like he was scared. Both guys were sweating. Clothes was drenched. 5th set, they were at 4-4. He breaks Nadal, serving for the match. Or 5-4, I'm sorry. Breaks Nadal. 6-5. Tsitsipas serving. He was down love 30. Nadal had another chance to get back into it, to go into the tiebreaker. It just didn't happen. Tsitsipas played a lot more aggressive. I listened to Nadal's interview. He said he played the more important points better than me. Yes, you feel bad for Nadal, but come on, guys. He's got 20 slams. You can't feel bad for him.
Okay. A great take.
And on top of that, he never played a quality player until he met Tsitsipas. Just like Barty, I said, these guys had an easy draw. They didn't play anybody good. I mean, not until the quarterfinals. So there you go.
All right. Great take. I thought it was very good. I have a similar take, but not quite as... I think the moral of the story boils down a little bit easier than all of that. Nadal came out, won the first 2 sets relatively straightforward. Okay, you already said that.
Yeah.
Can't cover that any better than that. The 3rd set, we get to a tiebreaker. Okay, Nadal coughs up a couple routine errors in the tiebreaker, cost him the set. What did that do to Tsitsipas? Gave him energy. Come on, let's go.
Well, yeah, I missed that. Ooh, okay.
Come on.
Yeah.
Got him fired up to go.
Yeah.
I can take a set. I can take another one. And if I can win that one, I damn sure can win this match.
Yes.
He stayed focused. He stayed disciplined. He did not get spastic as he normally does. He plodded along. We get into the last two sets. There's routine unforced errors from Nadal. Yes, he's hitting a lot of winners, but his unforced errors are taking away from the ability to make some separation in terms of the score. The better player last night won.
The better player won.
Tsitsipas was a slow starter, it seemed. He was looking for any way to create a let's go. And he got that when Nadal blinked in the tiebreaker in the third. And Tsitsipas was able to stay focused and maintain the edge throughout the match.
Yeah.
Fair enough?
Fair enough. And Michael Walker, I'll read what he said later.
Is Michael Walker on?
He is on. I saw your Twitter thing. Great comment. Great comment.
By the way, let me rewind to the beginning of the show. When I give shout outs, I can't believe I forgot Mike Walker. Mike Walker out there, I'm telling you, don't ever play trivia with this guy, especially if it's going back to like the 70s and 80s, because he'll kill you on it. Another shout out to Mike Walker. Brilliant tennis mind out there. Much love to New York. By the way, a big statistic in this match. If you go back and look at the match as a whole, points that went on longer than 9 shots, Tsitsipas won 70% of them, and Nadal won 25% of them. So it was in Tsitsipas's interest to make the points a little bit longer.
What does that tell you, though? Which is what I've been saying. Father Time is around the corner for Nadal and Djokovic. These guys can no longer do the long matches. It's like we're playing a 20-year-old right now. They're going to outlast us if we're playing that long.
If they're a quality player.
Exactly. Yeah. Michael Walker said Nadal lost his last 8 tiebreakers against top 10 players.
That's a great stat.
Great stat from him.
All right, implications moving forward for Nadal losing this match, and implications moving forward for Tsitsipas winning this match. Now, this isn't the first time Tsitsipas has taken out a top player at the top of the game, being down 2 sets. Didn't he do that to Federer not terribly long ago? Didn't he do it at the Australian Open?
Same place.
So he's been there, done that. So he's taken out 2 of the big 3, or what's left of the big 2.5 at the Australian Open. And didn't he do that to Federer in the quarterfinals as well?
I think so.
Watch out for Tsitsipas in the quarters. Okay, Carlo, what does this mean for Nadal moving forward? Is this irrelevant and he wins his 27 millionth French?
I think this is irrelevant to him, which is why I couldn't pick in my heart. Of course, I went Nadal because I'm a Nadal fan, but I felt like Tsitsipas it's their time. I feel like it's their time to win a slam. Don't get mad at me, guys, but I'm tired of seeing the same guys win. I've said this for years. I want the new guys to win. Plus, I'm a Nadal fan, but I don't really want anyone passing Federer. There you go. I just don't. I don't.
Interesting. Not even your own boy.
Not even my own boy. See, I'm not a crazy fanatic fan. I'm not one fan. It's what you guys don't get. I got a lot of messages. Oh, poor Nadal. You must be crying. Man, I don't cry. It's just tennis. We are people. We're their fans. That's about it. But I have a lot of respect for Federer. And to me, he is one of the best. And his game, Tsitsipas has his game, which is why I love Tsitsipas. I even have some screenshots of him.
All right, here's a poll question. Poll question is this. Would the majority of you rather have seen Djokovic playing Nadal again or something new?
At first we said Nadal and Djokovic just so they could have that rematch. But I felt like there's no way Nadal is going to beat Djokovic at the Australian Open, being that he's won 8 of them. I feel like Medvedev or Tsitsipas have a way better chance to beat him. I don't think Karatsev is going to do it.
Hey, by the way, I keep getting up because we use our cell phone for this, and someone advised me that it might be you just don't touch your screen enough and the screen shuts off, so I'm touching the screen. All right, here's a side note. We just brought up Djokovic for a minute. Let's talk.
And I'll show some pictures and I'll bring up their comments. There's a lot of comments here, by the way.
All right, let's talk about their comments. Let's go there. That's the most important thing. Your comments are everything.
So LS Fire says, yes, someone said that Tsitsipas had more topspin on his backhand 2 first sets and then flattened it out the rest of the match. Great point, which is what I said. He was hitting through his backhand. His backhand was solid. He was putting nothing away. Beautiful backhand. I took a screenshot because I want my daughter to see and I want her to watch his match, how he hit his one-handed backhand.
Yes, we didn't watch the match live, but between Cam Williams' show and replay, we watched the entire thing. We actually were able to pair the 2 up. That's exactly right. We mentioned this as the tides changed. Tsitsipas was able to flatten out the backhand a little bit, hit through the court a little bit more instead of having more spin and giving Nadal the potential to take a short ball. We talked about this on yesterday's show. What would be our strategies to win, at least in terms of someone playing Medvedev, right? So same type of premise, but he's absolutely right. It's exactly what happened.
Team Verse says, Gene Rafa played flawless tennis first 2 sets. Steph improved his level in the third, won a close tiebreaker, and then he played great for the last 2 sets.
Beautifully said.
That's absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, and now he gets to rest for 2 days. Absolutely.
Now, the amazing thing about Tsitsipas, though, and this is, look, if I call a spade if I have to do it, I have always said Tsitsipas is a little spastic, and I never would, with that said, really put him on my team to win a major in terms of our tennis racket giveaway and so forth. I just, until he corrected that, I would have a tough time doing that. He did that last night. Maybe the no crowd didn't let him get spastic.
I think it helped him.
Now, let me tell you something even, this is from a coaching standpoint. One-handed backhand players. I play with one. All 5 of my children play with one. Well, actually, no. Gabriella's kind of experimenting with both now, but she still hits the one-handed backhand. To be able to adjust to hitting topspin and then the flat ball, and then as well mixing in the slice. So you're delivering the one-handed topspin, slice, and the flat ball. That's really clean. If you can do that, you're elite. And hence why he won the match.
I like your comment, Anastasia77. Tsitsipas must really develop his backhand and returns, and everything will be easier. I think I heard Brad Gilbert made a good comment about that. He doesn't need to go a lot on the returns. Why not just get the ball back on the backhand? Because sometimes he can go for too much and it goes out, which is what he was doing in the first and second set, and he adjusted a bit.
Well, there's an important dynamic behind that statement, and they probably didn't have a time to elaborate. The one-handed backhand, because the rotation, the hand to racket is at 90 degrees. So my hand is this way, my racket is this way as I'm beginning to hit the shot. Because of that amount of rotation from 90 degrees to ball impact, if I don't compact it out, if I go for too much, I tend to miss. I tend to hit really long, shank balls, hit wide. I can just really just block the ball back. With the one-handed backhand, that's the beauty of it. I can release, step, block, right? I teach all our one-handers that. Step, block, return. The two-handed backhand is more efficient here. I hate to say that because, look, I'm glad the one-handed backhand won, by the way.
Me too.
Look, I'll vote for a one-handed backhand over a two-handed backhand any day on any player. But the two-handed backhand, here comes the ball. You have your second hand on the racket. Now, name one player out there, and here's a trivia question. In this tournament, name one player out there that returns serve that has a two-handed backhand that puts their left hand on the throat of the racket. Can you answer that? Can anybody answer that? Who is the player right now, still in this tournament, that returns serve with a two-handed backhand but keeps the hand on the throat of the racket?
It's a woman.
It's a man.
No, I thought you played
Karatsev.
Oh.
Karatsev, you watch him return. Generally, a two-handed backhanded player won't keep the second hand on the throat. They'll kind of keep it more neutral so that way they can drop, step, return. Most servers are going to pinpoint that backhand, draw people to return scooting over, and then take the tee, right? But the two-handed backhand, the ball can come in, and you can just have your hands here and go step, block. The one-handed, there's more racket movement, so it's more difficult. Tsitsipas did a great job of doing that last night.
Yinghao, I disagree with you. I mean, I don't think even if he would have played Berrettini, I don't think he would have been that tired. Berrettini was injured, right? I mean, if Djokovic at 33 can play a lot of five-setters, why can't a young man of 22 do the same thing and not injured? Not injured.
He has a poignant comment here, though, because when Dominic Thiem went 5 sets against Kyrgios, Dominic Thiem went 5 sets against Kyrgios, came out and then lost his next match, right? So, I mean, I think...
He's saying that it would have been different if he would have played Berrettini and then played Nadal. He would have lost the match. I don't think so.
Well, maybe so.
We don't know that.
A good comment, though.
Yeah, but we don't. William Spencer says, my main reservation for me is that Stefanos' backhand return in big points against big players. Rafa was getting loads of cheap points on that side. He needs to develop a blunt return like Stan and Roger.
Exactly. The compact, blunt, straight block return. As a one-handed player, it's very, very, very important. The two-handers, it's right there for him generally. It's just here, done.
Good comment, Ryan Mason. One-handed backhand adds variety over two-handed, especially ability to change the spin and play offense when extending.
Who did a very good job of doing that last night? Who last night, male or female, that strikes a two-handed backhand, was able to adjust, give them the one-handed slice backhand, and actually come back and win the match? Muchova. Yeah. Watch out for that. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Zitter says, I wonder how many slams in the last 10 years have been won by players with one-handed backhand.
That's a great knowledge drop. That's a good poll question for everybody. I know my dad would know this answer. Let's think about it. Wawrinka has a one-handed, so he won 3.
Mm-hmm.
Federer
The last 10 years.
Federer has a one-handed backhand, so you'd have to go to 2011 plus.
Mm-hmm. That's about it.
Anybody else with the one-hander that won? I think Federer and Wawrinka are going to be your answer in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I would love to see a change to that. Maybe Tsitsipas can do that.
Gene, you're working hard. I see you're blocking. Block, delete.
Let's go, Gene. Let's go, Gene.
I don't even get a chance to read it. Steam Girl says Stefan's flat backhand down the line was really nice today. The shot of unmatched point. Yes. Now let me show a picture of since we're talking about that and we won't get a chance to. By the way, I love Tsitsipas mask. I'm gonna get one.
Oh, the face covering?
Just because I'm a fan. And again, not a fan of one, guys.
She really did choose Tsitsipas to win the tournament. She really did.
Here's the mask. I love it, and I'm gonna get it because I love this guy. I love his fire. I love his height. I love the style that he plays. And here's a picture of his backhand.
This is a beautiful picture.
Beautiful picture.
Check that out. Soak that in.
I mean, I'm gonna show my daughter that. Beautiful. It's time this guy wins.
Yeah, this is very Federer-esque. He is coming into his own. I think I can't say that yet because it's only a semifinal. I want to see him get to the final and make it close. Only problem is who's out there. Djokovic is out there.
Yeah, he's gonna be tough.
Even Medvedev is out there. Medvedev is going to be really tough. The Medvedev win over a very sickly, zombie-ish looking Rublev was quite routine. We'll get into that in a moment.
Yeah. Both guys were serving well. I mean, 17 aces for Tsitsipas, 15 for Nadal. Their first serve percentage was at 62 for Sissi, 68 for Nadal. 79% when they won their first serves for Tsitsipas and 78 for Nadal. Those are great statistics.
The kicker statistic is shots over 9 or points over 9 shots. Tsitsipas won by a landslide. Those points. It's very rare that you're looking at a stat like that on the men's side, right? Usually it's like, who's putting the points on, 1, 2, plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, but plus 9? Quite interesting there.
Let me see if there's any message. From Jesus Cruz Cava said, from me being a non-expert, never played the match in the game, it's more enjoyable to watch Stefano's style than Medvedev style. Agree. Hands down.
That's not even a comparable.
Yeah.
Medvedev, 6 feet behind the baseline, booming, loopy, at least not loopy in terms of the trajectory of the ball, but loopy in terms of the loopness of his arm. He has a big stroke. That's really tough on a fast court. We know this court's playing fast.
Yeah.
The bigger the stroke, the harder it is to set up on time and then to meet the ball on time. So the edge, I think, if Tsitsipas and Medvedev face, based upon that Medvedev played a very ghostly looking Rublev. Look, if you saw that, we have some. We'll talk about that in a moment. Hopefully, the best for Rublev. He wasn't there. If you looked at his skin complexion, I'm surprised he didn't collapse from heat exhaustion. It was around 90 in Melbourne yesterday. Really, really surprised he was able to even finish. But Tsitsipas last night playing Medvedev last night, I give it to Tsitsipas in 4 to 5 sets. But we'll talk about that.
Ryan Mason says, I think Tsitsipas had a side spin component to down the line backhand. It allows the ball to go through the court faster and skids away from the player.
Now, this is a great comment here. Who said that?
This was Ryan Mason.
We were watching this match this morning. We had kind of the volume muted with the ESPN stuff on the replay. Some of the commentary is just really bad. I hate to say that. So we had that down and then Cam's replay up. And Tsitsipas, he's right. Tsitsipas would get the shot over on his backhand wing and well over into the corner, right? Most of the time, I'm speaking the truth. I'm a one-handed player. Most of the time, Carla, what do we do with that shot? We slice it back cross court, or we hit topspin back cross court. But he would actually go ahead and get set and rip it up the line.
Yeah, and that's the shot I try to teach two-handers. You got to have that down the line. You can't always go cross court.
With side spin, it's important because one thing as players we forget, that is if we're moving in one direction, we have to think about physics, inertia, and deflection of the ball with inertia. So if we're moving to the right, and say I want to go down if I'm right-handed and I'm trying to go down the line to my opponent's side, I'm moving to the right and I'm hitting the ball to my right? So if I'm moving that way and I don't mentally try to aim a little bit further inside, my ball will carry wide unless I give it kind of that hooking side spin, right? Tsitsipas was recognizing that, was aiming inside the line, and was able to create a safety mechanism by kind of hooking it and letting it hang right down that line. That's great teamwork from the team. That's great coaching, and that's great study. So good job by him.
I have a few questions. So before Justin, you keep going. Let me just get to this.
I'm done. Yeah.
Team Girl says perfect extension of the end of the shot. I love watching one-handed backhands because I have one myself. Ying Hao asks, it is Aussie Open where Steph has the best chance of winning slams. I think Gina asked the same question about that. Does Stefanos, is this his best chance? I've seen him play on grass. I've seen him play on clay. I think he could win any slam.
Well, I don't know.
I don't think that the Aussie is his best chance.
Well,
he does better here because it's the first slam of the year.
Yeah.
You know, we always talk about how the U.S. Open, everybody's wiped out.
He's taken out Federer up 2 sets here. Mm-hmm. He's taken out now Nadal up 2 sets here. Mm-hmm. He has Djokovic in his future, potentially.
Yeah. Does Tsitsipas win a slam this year? I hope so. I think so. I picked him to win this one.
Okay. Let's look at that more objectively.
I know it's Djokovic.
Djokovic, this is his backyard.
That's his backyard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I think Wimbledon's a tough animal because he's not going to win the French. Tsitsipas isn't going to win the French. Nadal's going to take the French. And if not, it'll be what? Another dirt baller out there somewhere?
He can play dirt too.
Someone like Cecchinato will come up, like
Djokovic supposedly is the second best guy in play too.
Do you remember back in the day it was what Gaston Gaudio and Guillermo Coria? What was it Guillermo Coria?
Gaston Gaudio.
Gaston Gaudio, yeah, and Coria. You know, the French Open is a really difficult animal. And I'm going to have some big news for what I'm going to give away for the French Open, by the way, and I'll do that at the end of the show. But it's a really difficult animal. You never really know who's going to get there. That's what makes Rafael Nadal so different. He's won a million of these things, right? Tsitsipas, I don't think will win that. Go to Wimbledon. I don't think Federer was going to win it. He's going to be rusty. He's older.
Gregor's saying none of these new gens will win Wimbledon. Don't be silly.
Exactly.
So we're going to choose the same guy, Djokovic again? Come on, man.
It would seem fitting right now.
Oh, brother, come on! You guys have to think out of the top 2 all the time. You got to think a little bit wider than that. I mean, it's so easy to say Djokovic, Nadal, But it gets boring.
But it's logical.
Because it's the easiest pick.
Okay, let me ask you a hypothetical question. If I said, Carla, right now you have to bet all your belongings. Right now, hypothetical, you had to bet all your
Djokovic is a safe pick.
All of your belongings, no matter what, right now or else, who's going to win Wimbledon? Who would you say you have to say?
Djokovic is the safest pick. That's why all of you guys pick Djokovic on your thing.
Okay, he's still in it, and they could still win.
But nobody's winning the racket because everybody.
Well, we'll talk about that.
But listen,
don't tease it out.
Again, coronavirus has affected a lot. The quarantine has affected a lot. Obviously, Djokovic is not the same guy he used to be. It's taking him a lot more sets to get to the Australian Open final than it has before. What do you think is going to happen at Wimbledon? What about if we have another quarantine? What about we shut down and these guys? Anything can happen. Anything can happen this year.
Does anyone know what my acronym or my saying?
WGAS, you're going to say?
WGAS means WGAS.
Well, aren't you going to talk about this guy saying that they shouldn't play any more tournaments because of that? We're going to get to that too.
Yes, we'll get to that. Moving forward to the last tournament of the year, because the question was, will Tsitsipas win a major this year?
Yeah.
I don't think he gets this one for Djokovic. He's not going to win Wimbledon, in my opinion. He's definitely not going to win the French. Then you get to the U.S. Open. The U.S. Open is his chance because it's the end of the year. Everybody's tired. Everybody's in the same position. Everybody's traveled all year. And some people have made it to the ATP final. Some people are still fighting for a spot. I think U.S. Open is his chance. But again, if you had to bet all your belongings right now,
go with Novak.
You would go with Novak or maybe Nadal.
Team Girl said, bet Justin did a backflip when Barty lost. No more rackets. Ha ha ha.
All right. So Team
You
Gross,
guys didn't listen to me.
Team Gross, thank you for that. No, it wasn't like that. And I'm going to actually up the ante for the French Open. I'm going to roll it over. And we'll talk about at the end. So the French Open thing is going to be big. But yesterday, I was speaking with Cam Williams. I really love this guy. He's young. He doesn't have kids, and he works so hard. So I see like a lot of my oldest son in him, right? He's a go-getter. He just keeps going. And I was telling him, why don't you do your Barty match? You're from Australia. You should stand up for your countrymen, no matter what. What if she loses? And he was like, I'm confident she'll get through it. I hate not to do it, but I let my fans vote on my matches, and then I
don't let your fans vote on it.
I thought that was great, though. He wanted to do his own country, but I thought that was wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm sure he wished he would have done it now, but he wanted to, but he let his fans speak, and I think that's very courageous.
I'm gonna mention this viewer, Amor Joker, because I've never seen you here. Hello, guys. Do you think Djokovic can beat Medvedev?
I do. If his injury is real, maybe not. And I'm joking about that. I think an injury happened. We watched it, and there was a tweak there. Maybe it was over exaggerated about what that tweak could have been. But I don't think anybody right now. I just don't. I just don't think anybody is going to beat him. This guy's won it 8 times.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you? He's not going to be nervous stepping on that
Well,
court.
my
There's
final,
going to be no nerves.
My final was from the beginning, before this all started, was Stefanos Tsitsipas playing against Djokovic. That was my final. It's on there.
Yeah.
You guys can see my pick, and I picked Stefanos to win. So I'm rooting Stefanos all the way. You guys know I'm not a big Djokovic fan. I respect him, but there's just a lot that irks me.
Yeah, nerves and anxiety is everything here. This is the mental part of the game. Djokovic has been there 8 times, soon to be 9th time, right? Medvedev has been to a U.S. Open final, lost to Nadal, so he'll have less nerves than anybody. I'm assuming Karatsev is going to give it the old college try.
I'll give it a try.
He has nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose.
With that said, I would think his nerves would be the least out of everyone.
Absolutely, he's been there.
Yeah. So I'm thinking the less nerves out of your semifinalists is Karatsev. I'm thinking the most nerves is Tsitsipas.
And Medvedev, if he wins, will feel the nerves because I know you guys here say that you guys mentioned Medvedev has beat him at the ATP finals. It's different beating someone at an ATP finals
2 out of
than
3 sets.
beating somebody at a slam,
Yeah.
especially a guy that's won 8 times, and we know he can be down 2 sets and come back and win.
And the ATP finals is, I know there's a big purse there. I understand that. We've talked about the ATP finals. A lot of people ask us why we don't cover the ATP finals at the end of the year and do this type of thing. To me, and I'm sorry, this is my opinion and my opinion only, I find it exhibitionary. I don't find it that terribly important in terms of outside of a big purse and the top players there. Didn't we have Jack Sock there one year? Wasn't Jack Sock there just because he won a tournament late in the year at like Paris Masters back in 16, 17, 18, somewhere in there?
Yeah.
So I just have a hard time believing that if Jack Sock can get to the ATP finals, it's really anyway.
I think it'll look. Again, I said I'm not the huge.
Jack Sock's not
I'm
a
not
great
the
player.
biggest Djokovic
He's not good
fan,
at all.
but it will be tough to beat Djokovic. It will be really tough. Whoever beats Djokovic, if they beat Djokovic at the Australian Open, much credit to them because that will be a tough task. It's just like beating Nadal at a French Open final.
Yeah.
The same thing.
Tough.
It's a tough task.
Yeah.
So good luck to you, young bloods, because
it's
gonna be tough.
It's gonna be a battle.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to want to tear your own face off to beat Djokovic here.
Yeah.
Speaking of Djokovic, by the way, Djokovic made a statement that the players that are members of the Players Council that he is kind of leading, or the majority of them have indicated that they would rather not play any tournament or for the rest of the year for that matter if it meant they had to go through this quarantine period again. I don't blame them. I told Carla, I agree with him there. I couldn't imagine going somewhere, flying on a plane, as much energy as that takes out of you. If flying from here to Australia is what, like a 16-hour flight or something? Get there, get off. You got to go into a hotel room and sit there for 2 weeks only to come out and play a very, very arduous sport. Best 3 out of 5, 2 out of 3 synonymous for women because they're different biologically. Their bodies feel the same as men do 2 out of 3 as we do 3 out of 5. But your thoughts on that? I would agree with the players that he is speaking of. I would not want to do it. And by the way, who pays for these hotel rooms and all the food when the players are in those hotels for 2 weeks? Could you imagine a qualifier if they're having to pay for their hotel and their food and their lodging for 2 weeks? I'm assuming someone else pays for it.
Yeah.
Because there's no way.
Well, Australian Open did this time. I don't think that Djokovic will win that battle. I think that the tour must continue. Other sports have continued during coronavirus. Schools started, everything. They're going to have to deal with it. And there's players that depend on money to survive playing tennis. So I don't think that's going to happen.
All right, comments?
Let's see here. Yes, Jack Sock won Paris to get number 8 spot and then fell massively after that. I'm sorry, I'm more joker, but I've never seen your comments before. I thought it was the first time. Yinghouse says Daniil will be competitive against Novak, but Novak will ultimately win. LS Fire says hard lockdown, that's some experience without training for 2 weeks seems excessive.
Yeah, it is excessive. It's incredibly. I mean, look, Put it this way. I'll speak for myself. I've been through some injuries, right? And some that have required surgery and major surgery, so forth. If you sit around for a couple of days as an athlete, much less a couple of weeks, atrophy sets in, the muscles start to shrivel up like raisins. The athletes have to continue to train. If you're on a football team and you're sitting down between offense and defense, and I'm talking for just a couple of minutes, you're over there on an exercise bike. Exercise bike, they'll only do so much sitting in a hotel room when you're preparing for a major.
Well, I feel out of shape just these 2 weeks we really haven't played tennis.
Exactly.
You know, I can't imagine getting on the court. I mean, I felt like I was in great shape, and then these 2 weeks, I'm like, oh, really?
Yeah, taking time off from the game is really tough. When was Groundhog Day? If you're international and you don't know what Groundhog Day is,
it was a few weeks ago when it happened.
Yeah, Groundhog Day is when this groundhog, Punxsutawney Phil, somewhere in Pennsylvania, comes out, and it's just a theatrical thing. Supposedly, if the groundhog sees its shadow, there's 2 more weeks of winter. If he doesn't, spring is on the horizon, or vice versa. But he saw a shadow, or however it works, and there's 2 more weeks of winter. So generally, right here in Alabama, this time of year on this island that we live on, generally it's 70, 72, 73 degrees, and a really nice time of the year. But for almost 2 weeks, it's been in the 40s for a high.
We had to cancel our lessons today.
It's raining, and yeah, today we have a full lesson packed.
Which kills our Saturday and Sunday. We won't be doing a show till super late.
Yeah, so a heads up, this coming Saturday and Sunday, usually our lessons are kind of staggered in a way, but our Saturday is completely full, and our Sunday is completely full. Until sun comes up, till sun goes down. So on Saturday and Sunday, after the women's final and the men's final, we will do this, but it might be at a random, non kind of letting you know ahead of time hour. But we got to work.
Gassa says beating Nadal in the French Open is the toughest thing to do. Novak is beatable at the Australian Open. This guy says Novak will lose his crown. Philip says Novak just loves drama. He needs to thrive on. Careful, Philip. They might bash you here. Gassa said, I honestly hope that Steph and Daniil have a grueling 5-setter. Gene, imagine having a quarantine at every tournament I played this year. More risk to injury now.
Yeah, I agree with Gene. I couldn't agree more. If we take time off, our muscles contract, they become atrophied. Then we try to get back and do what we normally did because our mind is telling us that we can, but the body is saying no. And then we end up with these abdominal things and pulled muscles and injuries or torn ACLs. You have to be really careful. You have to keep the body primed to go.
Tomas says, your thoughts on the role of the crowd in the semis? I think it's great.
Depends on what match.
I'm glad they're back from Nole. I think it's great. Barty's out, so it doesn't matter. I think Medvedev and Tsitsipas will thrive with the crowd. Both of these guys will be yelling a lot. Serena, Osaka, they get to see that. That's fun. That's great for the crowd.
Look, the Muchova match playing Brady, the crowd being or not being there, I think it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Osaka playing Williams.
The crowd will be relevant.
Well, I think it makes it more interesting without the crowd because surely the crowd actually would be almost split, I would assume, on both of those. I mean, because
I think a lot of people they're all rooting for Serena to get this record. Yeah. They're tired of Margaret Court in Australia.
I don't think so in Australia. I don't look. Everyone for the majority likes Serena Williams a lot. I know there's a lot of people that do not, but that's okay. Opinions are okay. We do have to understand that Margaret Court is from Australia, so I don't know what the overall feelings are in Australia about Serena Williams tying. I don't know if it's something that they want to see or something that they don't want to see. So I don't know the answer to that. Maybe Cam Williams or someone from Australia can answer that, but I don't know the feelings there. But I think it makes the match more interesting because here are 2 gladiators, Serena and Osaka, and besides, their camps to look up at, which I think is stupid in of itself, they have to conceptualize what they're going to do in here. They don't have any energy to sway them. So the better player tomorrow or tonight,
I'm watching now,
will win. That match starts at 9 Eastern, by the way.
That, yeah.
We'll definitely be on Cam's channel for that.
We're not gonna fall asleep, right?
No, not tonight.
We're gonna get coffee.
Let's go.
We're getting old. I realized that him and we're not old. We're just not. We can't stay up like you guys do. Anastasia77 said a potential final Novak versus Medvedev would be an epitome of drama, shouting at coaches and racket smashes.
Yeah, no, look.
So would Tsitsipas because he does the same thing.
Look, so my dad out there, and he's a credible person in the game. He brought me into the game. I was born into it. He was a coach before I was born. He's a physician, a doctor, but his thing was tennis. and he was taking me to USPTA coaching seminars when I was like 8 or 9, right?
Mm-hmm.
He made a comment yesterday to me personally, obviously, and I actually wrote that down. I almost forgot to mention it. It had to do with Muchova and Novak Djokovic. So my dad thinks.
Oh, I think I have that text message.
So my dad thinks that Novak Djokovic. My dad's an old school tennis player, all white. He still wears all white when he goes on the tennis court. He still plays with the wooden racket to this very day. I'll give him like one of my new sticks or something. Here, pick one. No, I want my Woody. He won't touch it. It's a Jack Kramer autograph, Wilson Jack Kramer autograph. Carries with him like nothing. I think he has like a couple Lou Hode rackets. I don't know if anybody knows who Lou Hode is. I think he has a couple of Lacoste rackets from way back in the day. But anyway, he was watching the Muchova match, and he made a point to contact me after it was over and said that, hey, Barty was up big. She took this idiotic medical timeout, which is stupid.
He said, did she take a prolonged break after losing the first set 1-6? Poor thing. No doubt she had a rock in her shoe. And once the rock was removed, she could return to the match and shine.
Yeah, and then he said after that, maybe
she and Djokovic should pair up in a mixed doubles and show the world what gamesmanship is all about.
Look, where was that? Where's that? Okay, yeah. So this is from my dad, 82 years young, ex-Navy captain, flight surgeon, retired doctor. 82. Muchova, did she take a prolonged break after losing the first set 1-6 ? Poor thing. No doubt she had a rock in her shoe, and once the rock was removed, she could return to the match and shine. By the way, she and Djokovic should pair up for mixed doubles and show the world what gamesmanship is all about. Let's go!
Oh, shoot. Oh, no.
Yeah. All right, so back to the crowd affecting the outcome of the matches for Medvedev and Tsitsipas.
Mm-hmm.
I think the no crowd, I think it affects Medvedev more because Medvedev, like Djokovic, is able to piss off the crowd and use that to channel his energy moving forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
He systematically dissed or put Rublev off the court last night, but Rublev looked very sick. If anybody should have retired last night, and someone like Casper Ruud should not have, Rublev could have gotten away with that no problem, but he finished the match.
Yeah,
right?
Tomas asks, who are your family's favorite players? Okay, I'll tell you. My brother loves Djokovic.
Yeah.
He digs and sends me text messages just to bug me. My dad loves Federer and Thiem.
Mm-hmm.
He can't stand Djokovic. He hates him.
Yeah.
Your dad, Federer?
No. Well, my dad goes older than that.
But I mean, like now.
My father currently at 82 is on board with that. Federer is like players when he grew up. My dad's favorite players: Big Bill Tilden, Lou Hode. Give me some more. Steffi Graf, Tracy Austin. He always thought that Tracy Austin was like my older sister. She was very small.
They're talking about right now, but.
Oh, right now it would be Federer.
Yeah,
and then on the women's side, he likes Barty because she doesn't squeal. She doesn't make a bunch of noise. She has great sportsmanship. My father hates squealing and racket breaking.
Yeah, my dad loves all the one-handers.
Yeah.
He can't stand Djokovic at all. And he doesn't really care for Nadal too much, by the way. All right, let's talk about the women's matches. Are we going to talk about Medvedev and... because I know someone asked me, I think Tatara, are we going to talk about women's matches?
Yes, we are. We are. We definitely are going to do that. There was no rhyme or reason to starting with that match. It was just that Carla is Nadal's #1 fan, so we figured everyone would want to give her a hard time.
It doesn't bug me.
All right, then let's jump right into the Barty match then really quickly.
So we'll talk about Medvedev later?
Yeah, okay. It was pretty routine. The Barty Muchova match, okay? Barty comes out. Oh, by the way, before this match started, I was writing a couple thoughts. I was talking to Cam Williams at the same time, privately. I thought that Barty would win this match.
Me too, from the first set.
I wrote down with her, I think Barty wins a tight match, but 6-4, 7-6, straight sets. They're head-to-head. Barty leaded 1-0. They played at the U.S. Open, or excuse me, not the U.S. Open, or was it the U.S. Open, or was it Cincinnati? No, I think they played at the U.S. Open in the third round, and Barty won 6-3, 6-4. I'm pretty sure that's correct. Muchova's 5'10", 24 years old, big girl.
She's tough. I thought it would be 3 sets. I said 3 sets. And I said to you guys, Barty has not been tested. She hasn't been tested. She's had an easy draw, just like Nadal. They never faced anyone really tough. we didn't think it was going to be a tough match from the first set. I even said, wow, this is boring. And then Justin calls me, medical timeout. I'm like, what?
Yeah. I saw the medical timeout. I'm like, geez, here we go with this ridiculous timeout stuff. By the way, I'm not, we give people grief, and we would be hypocritical if we didn't give Muchova some grief. But let me just say one thing. I like Muchova a lot. Mm-hmm. The medical timeout is a very gray area rule. Mm-hmm. Okay. In football, they have timeouts. In basketball, they have timeouts. The only sport where you don't have timeouts is tennis. Some people will say, well, they change sides every 2 games. Mm-hmm. Well, damn, a coach in football or basketball pulls a running back or a receiver out after 1 play, sits them down, then they go back in the game and they still call timeouts and everybody goes off the field. So you have to think a little bit more objectively there. Yeah. But the timeout is a gray area of trying to cool an opponent off when they're hot. Djokovic is very good at this. A lot of players are very good at this. It's in the rules, though. Hey, so unless you want,
Stremska's the queen of it.
Unless you want to diss somebody, or if you want to diss somebody, then don't diss the player for using the rules. Diss the rule writers.
William Spencer says Muchova said she felt dizzy, so had a medical timeout. Given that she said she had felt lost, it kind of looked like the moment got too big. Combined with the heat, she got flustered. After a medical timeout, she calmed down. It helped her.
Yeah, it helped her.
She wasn't injured. She was dizzy. Okay. Which is why they put the cramping rule. You can't call a medical timeout while you're cramping. Remember?
Look, when I was a boy...
Better is for that. He says you shouldn't.
When I was a boy, all the way through college, surely the same for you through challengers, the only way that we could stop play is if our leg was broken, our ankle was sprained, we couldn't get up, we ruptured our patellar tendon like I did, tore ACL. Unless you couldn't get up and have to be carried off the court, there was no damn timeout.
Well, she felt sick. I mean, if you feel sick and you're going to feel passed out, you could call medical timeout.
Okay, well, as juniors and through college, I couldn't do that.
I don't see anything wrong with that because they've stopped play when people are throwing up. What about if she would have thrown up and collapsed on the court?
You're telling me when you played challengers and you were
but this is the world.
This is today.
This is the world of sissies. That's a fact.
There
guys.
You go.
If you're in your 20s, you are sissies. Okay, because our generation, we did a lot more than you guys. Okay, we didn't have this thing, and it wasn't that easy.
Man, you just pissed off a lot of people.
I don't care. This is the world of sissies. Okay, these 20-year-olds, they go crying to mommy. I see it every time.
Not the majority, but
I'm just saying. I see it a lot, even in the Air Force Academy. Just saying.
Look, she meant to say that today there's a lot more sissies in their 20s than there were before.
Thinking. Let me tell you something. This guy, when I went to school, I went to a school that I wasn't supposed to go to. I walked 3 hours, okay, with my equipment and everything.
Took the subway?
Took the subway. When I had to go train, I had to go walk in the snow with my brother, walk far. I mean, we didn't have money. We had to really go out there, train. I mean, we had to work for our stuff. Kids these days, they get a car. They get a phone. Everything's easier for them. When we were playing tennis matches, my dad can tell you if he's out there, I played a tennis match against a boy. I was cramping. I was not allowed to stop. I had to keep playing through it. Like you said, I had to play through that match with my calves just, free. They basically felt like rocks. I had to play through it. We had to play through it. I've seen so many matches at a high level in my time, and I'm not that old, where they had to play through it. Now we make it easier for people.
When I was a boy, if my dad's out there, whatever, or if any of the old coaches, Dave Howell in Virginia Beach, Brad Humphrey, San Diego in Encinitas, California, Dave Humphreys in Virginia Beach, Virginia, it didn't matter if it was 36 degrees and the wind was blowing 20 miles an hour, or if it was snowing outside. We played, and I'm not kidding you, snowing. We played in the snow. We trained in the snow. We worked out in the snow. Now, look at all of our lessons for the past 2 weeks. They've all been canceled by people that don't want their, kids out in the cold. I don't blame them. But at the same time, when we were young, that wasn't an excuse. Cold, get your butt out there now, and I'm not going to tell you again.
My dad would say, it's raining? Okay, so
let's go.
Let's go, he would say.
My dad at 82 had our 16-year-old son, the fourth oldest of 5 kids, and
he was 14 at that time.
Christopher was 14. My dad had Christopher out in pouring rain all day long, and the temperature was about 60 degrees, simply trying to get Chris to clean up his volleys. And I would say, hey, Dad, you're 82. It's really cold. We're all soaking, dripping wet. The balls are soaked. Are you okay? He's like, man, I'm good. He's going to clean up these volleys. We'll stay here until I got to turn the lights on and shine them down on the court for my car. It just doesn't work that way.
Not all
anymore.
20-year-olds, Jack Nolte. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm just saying, they're a lot softer. I watch my son goes to
So self-correction. Make the correction. Not
most
all.
20-year-olds. Most. It's the percentage is higher. Most are still living at home. I read the comments, where my son goes, and parents are always making excuses. They want to quit. They don't want to stay. They're having to eat bad food. I mean, stop making excuses for your kids. Because when you become an adult, you got to pay your own bills. Nobody's going to help you.
Yeah, if your child is at one of the most elite universities, the Air Force Academy in the world, and everything's paid for, don't complain because it looks pretty stupid. All right, back to Muchova, the Barty match.
Okay, in this, okay, if she would have fallen on the ground, it would have been a bad thing. Okay, we did see one player throw up. They had to stop. We saw Azarenka with her pump. They had to stop. So if you feel like you're gonna pass out, I get vertigo. And if you feel like, oh my gosh, everything is off balance, she says she felt dizzy, then I can understand the timeout. But the timeout was 8 minutes.
Okay, let's call a timeout here.
Okay.
Because this came up not as a way to say we think that she was sick or not. Now I know the media, based upon Twitter and a bunch of other stuff that I read this morning. I don't have Twitter. I just read articles. I really don't have that stuff. We have Facebook. By the way, if you want to catch up with us on Facebook and be more personal, pictures and so forth, it's Justin, Justin, space Carla, Carla, space Davis, Davis on Facebook. Let us know. We'll accept it. I think there's like 3,500 people there or something. But anyway, we're not saying that it's true or not. I think most of the people writing the stories that I read thought it was fabricated and a little too much, and she wasn't really sick. Yes, whoever said that if she would have passed out, if she would have fallen, yeah, that can kill you. You faint, you bang your head on the ground, you're done. Ask Philip Duyan out there. Yeah. He can tell you a lot about brain surgery. He does it. But what I'm getting at here is that it's a gray area rule.
It's a gray area.
It's like icing the kicker in the NFL. It's like a coach or a manager in baseball coming out to the pitcher's mound 3 times during the same batter. It's there for a reason, and they use it. We're not saying it's fabricated from her side. We're just saying that the rule is gray. It should be more, I guess, accurate.
I think that Barty got cooled off with the 8 minutes. That's a lot in tennis. 8 minutes is a lot. She got cooled off. But here's what happened. Okay, my dad called me. You know what he said? Barty had that match. She needs to stop slicing so much and hit her backhand. You know what? This slice has become predictable. Players know how to they figured out her slice. He said the second mistake players make when an opponent slices is that they go back cross court. Muchova figured it out that you must hit down the line when somebody slices to you, and that took Barty off balance.
I think we were talking about the same thing during the Tsitsipas Nadal match. I think someone by the name of William mentioned that Tsitsipas was able to bring it up the line, and that helped him out. Now, not every woman out there, I hate to say it, is very good at handling the slice and also giving it back. Why? Not a lot of the females, respectively, hit with the one hand a lot. So a lot of them, they tend to sue-shea it. You know, they got the second hand on there, they slice it, and maybe they go with the clean one-hander, but it's not consistent. You know what I'm saying? They have it, but it's not consistent. If you watch the Muchova match after the medical timeout, for whatever reason, that's for opinions, she was able to give the slice back to her. And then when she was able to answer tit for tat, slice to slice, she started taking lines. And it frustrated Barty. Barty didn't say a word, not grunt, ever. But
she was a little frustrated.
She didn't do it last night, but you could see some frustration. You could see she was perturbed. And when you see Barty perturbed, which is extremely rare, there was a good chance then it was over. The medical timeout was cause of a lot of the frustration because she was pacing for 10 minutes along the baseline waiting for this thing to end, which is the gray area.
Again, guys, I'm not saying that living at home is an issue. If you're going to school, then you should be at home to save money, right? But there's a lot of mid-20-year-olds, late 20-year-olds that are still at home.
And just don't do anything.
They don't do anything. That's my point. If you're going to school, we told our kids, you're going to school, and yeah, we got no problem with you being at home. No problem whatsoever. But if you're not doing anything with your life, then that's different.
Jonathan, our oldest son of 5, left for the Air Force Academy, near top of his class at 17, 18, right?
He's 18. He'll be 19.
I always told Jonathan, which I tell all of my kids, you will make straight A's all the way until you're a senior in high school, or you'll never get a telephone. You won't leave the house. Jonathan, I didn't have a problem with. He did it, and that's history. He's at the Air Force Academy. Chris, our next coming up, is number 2 in the entire school and he's a junior. I mean number 2 in the entire school, including freshman through senior. GPA, athletics, he plays number 1 on the tennis team. He hasn't lost a match in like a year and a half. Well, I think he lost one last year, I think. Did he?
I got cut short. Our season got cut short.
And I've told Christopher the same. You bring home less than an A, you don't train like you're supposed to, everything stops. Our next in line, 11, 8.
Yeah, there's no problem living at home. If you're going to school, you got to get an education, right? Very important, especially these days. Not like before, you get out of high school, get a good job, and then move up.
It doesn't work like that
anymore. It doesn't work that way anymore.
The world is too competitive.
Yeah.
You can't graduate or not graduate from high school, take the GED, or just get a high school degree or high school diploma.
You work
and go out and expect to compete for a high level position. This world is very competitive. In order to compete for any type of high level position or sport or anything, man, you got to be hungry. You got to be out there. You got to be top of your class. You got to show them you're motivated. You got to show them you're humble. You cannot talk smack. You cannot break rackets, metaphorically speaking. You have to be a solid, kind human being, or guess what? Kick rocks, because there's 500 more people behind you that want the same job, period. Mm-hmm. Enough said. Barty, by the way, I mentioned Muchova's height at 5'10". Barty's a whopping 5'5", little thing.
Yeah, but she's strong. She's like a little bull.
So you said Halep was small. I'm not going back into this.
But she doesn't play the same type of tennis. I just proved my point. Barty doesn't play the same defensive tennis, grueling tennis, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's different type of tennis. She plays more like Henin.
Yeah, I wrote at the top of this. This is where I wrote out, shout out to Jack Nolte, because this is the match that we were communicating with throughout. Mm-hmm. Barty smoked the first set. I'm just going to wrap it up. Barty smoked the first set. Mm-hmm. Barty was up a little early in the second. Medical timeout. Chip. After about 8 minutes of pacing around the baseline, the match changed. And the rest is history.
But she didn't make excuses. No, she didn't make the medical time as an excuse.
One interesting thing here that I jotted down, and I wrote this, and I almost forgot to mention it, but Barty was missing a lot of kick serves from Muchova coming into Barty's body. Okay, Muchova's kick serve was killing her in the second set. You notice that Muchova wasn't trying to serve right in the corner of the tee or out wide. She was putting the kick serve right to the body, jump up on Barty, forcing her to move out of the way and hit, and she was missing that. And anyway, I think all in all, I'm sorry that Barty lost. I like Barty a lot. Me too. I like Barty. I do like Barty a lot. She, I think, right now is my favorite player on the women's tour. Her overall game, she has a really beautiful game. She has the one hand when she needs to do it. She doesn't grunt. She doesn't break rackets.
But don't you think she should stop slicing so much?
Well, yeah, she does have to come off the slice somewhat. But who is one of our favorite tennis players?
Steffi Graf. Her slice was lethal. It was a weapon.
Barty's is pretty lethal.
Is not a weapon. I agree with my dad there, and I think someone here mentioned it too. People figure out that slice.
You figured mine out.
Yeah, once you figure it out, you tell yourself slow down, pace. It's like timing a high ball and hitting it off the ice. It's the same thing with a slice. You just gotta time it. Yeah. Once you time it, you got it.
My last note on this page is stay tuned for the end of the show, and it's not going to be too much longer for what we're going to do for the French Open in terms of money giveaway. We're going to be rolling some stuff over. I'll tell you about that at the end. It's going to be big time, no. Real quickly, I want to jump to the Brady Pegula match. Then we're going to go back into the men's. This will be quick.
I went to sleep on that match.
Yeah,
that was boring.
I'm basically going to leave it at this. Carla said this. Carla went. I was writing. Carla went to bed. She woke back kind of up early for the Nadal match, and that's when I kind of crashed. But Carla said this before match. Let me make sure the phone's not cutting off. All right. So Carla said the following: "This is going to be boring. It's going to go 3 sets, and I'm probably going to pass out."
I did.
It did. Also, just before Carla passed out, which is probably about 9:30 or something Central Time. Carla said this before, like a couple games played, and she said this. I want your thoughts on what Carla said. Okay, this is her quote.
Okay.
Kind of in and out of sleepiness, so she was speaking, not really thinking. I agree with what she said though. Carla said this. Watching this match, as she was about to be snoring. Watching this match is like watching Isner play Opelka, like watching Fritz play Tiafoe, or like watching Roddick play Marty Fish. So in other words, just another boring American versus American match.
It was boring, Justin.
And I hate to say it.
It was boring. I was really trying to get into this match because I'm like, here's 2 American girls Yes,
We were trying to go, let's go.
Go USA,
come on.
but you just couldn't do
We were
it.
just-
It was just boring.
Yeah, we could. We tried. We were like, come on. And then we were like, wait a minute.
Oh, I'm like, geez. But, I like what Pegula said at the end. I picked Brady to win because I think she's got a better shot, and now she's got a much better shot against Muchova. I like what she said. She said, amazing player. Jessica Blue is saying this about Brady. Amazing player, but better person. Thanks, Jen, for pushing me and inspiring me at the same time. Keep shining.
Wonderful comment. Great sportsmanship.
Your typical thing, like with Sloane Stephens, Madison Keys. That's why Madison Keys lost that slam. Can't be nice to your friends.
That's what we tell our students.
You can't be nice.
We have a lot of students, juniors play.
See, Matt Cain said I passed out. This guy said Brady Pegula was a snooze fest.
Let's go. There you go. We have a lot of tournament player students that are in the junior ranks.
Gene said boring.
And a lot of times we will go to tournaments with those students, and we will be walking the courts and watching our students, and it just kills us when we see, like, especially the girls, but we'll see girl A playing girl B, and they're sitting there talking. Oh, what did you do last night? What did you do? I like your shoes. I like. Oh my gosh, it's your opponent is not your friend. Not that day anyway. Not when you get on that court.
Especially two girls that went out to eat before they played against each other. You two know who you are.
Yeah, those were two of our students. Two of our students were going to play a match. They were playing each other in like the semifinals, and they decided to go out to lunch together prior to the match. I was like, what? You want to kill that person right now? Why
Brady grunts so deep. Yes, it's like.
She has the delayed grunt.
I'm like, what is that?
She has a delayed grunt. The ball bounces, she hits it, it goes to the other side of the court, and then when you're about to hit the ball, she grunts. Okay, tail of the tape real quick. Pegula, we've talked about her. Billionaire family. We've talked about her story the past 3 shows in a row. Brady, UCLA, played college, went through the college ranks to mature a little bit. Brady's 5'10", big girl. Pegula 5'7", right? The last time that these two played, by the way, Pegula won 7-6, 6-4. This was at the end of last year when the Cincinnati Masters was in New York City, I think. And it was a close match there. Pegula won. I did want to say this. Usually we give grief to Chris Evert a lot. And if Mike Walker's out there, he knows. We give grief to Chris Evert a lot because the times that we have kind of been around her, she's kind of been standoffish, doesn't want to talk to anybody unless they're elite like she is. Anyway, that type of thing. But she actually said a really good comment last night. So if you're watching this match, there's something that she was saying about Brady and Pegula that resonated with me because we do the same thing. Chris Evert indicated that Brady was no stranger to throwing a football, and neither was Pegula. Why is this important? Throwing a football or a baseball, especially, will help you developing your serve and your overhead. It helps you with the pronation, right? We have a football that we keep out on the court. And when we have beginners out there, we can't get them to kind of pronate the hand. They get what we're saying, rotate to flat, let the joints kind of separate from the hand. They get it, but they can't quite do it. So we'll give them a football and we'll teach them how to throw a spiral. And once they get that, then it translates back to the racket pretty well. Where is that football now? Stuck in the tree because I was trying to get the racket out of the tree. Anyway, the football is very good. Chris Evert said that great. If you're trying to learn the game, this is for anyone watching. If you don't play and are wanting to learn, if you're having a hard time learning serve, watch a video or learn how to throw the football or baseball correctly, and it will really help you with the serve. But again, last night it was boring. It really, really, really and truly was. I did watch the match until completion. But all in all, it was a coin toss, and it was a flip of the coin who won.
Some of these guys must be bored because they're talking about something else. But
that's cool. We can move on.
Gina asks, "What do you think makes Brady's serve very lethal? Is it her technique on the serve, or motion, or ball toss? I just think
her pronation, her pronation.
The football.
The football. It's really hard for a young. There's an old saying, and I hate to say this because it's kind of a sexist comment. You throw like a girl. You see a boy throwing a ball, and you're like, man, you threw that like a girl. Girls tend to kind of throw from here and not wind up and then pronate. So I think throwing the football helped her pronate. So she has quick pronation, and that enables her to really put pop on the ball. All right, enough of that. Rublev.
That's it for another.
So we're gonna go to Rublev Medvedev.
Great match.
It was a routine match.
Poor guy.
Medvedev looked ill, in my opinion.
Yeah, here's a picture of him.
Yeah, he didn't look good. Check it out.
I mean, look at his eyes. Look at that. And here's him. He's like, I'm done. I'm exhausted. I can't do it anymore. At least he's got biceps.
Yeah, dude didn't look good at all. Whether it was fatigue, whether it was heat, whether not feeling well, whatever it may be, you didn't have to be a paramedic to realize that he was in trouble. Surprisingly, no one caught on to that and was asking him, "Are you okay?" You could visibly tell he's pale already, but he was so pale you could like see the veins in his face.
Yeah, both were cramping. That's right. Rublev didn't stop, but I think he called the medical timeout. Did Medvedev did? It was a quick match. Unfortunately, Rublev lost. Hopefully, one day he could snap out of that and beat Medvedev.
This one's done. So, right. Is there anything more to really add to the Rublev Medvedev? The better player won. The player that usually beats him won, and the one that lost looked very uneasy. And I think the better player won.
Yeah, okay? Rublev was tired. Yeah, I agree. Heat, everything. I mean, the pressure of playing Medvedev. All right, let's go on to the...
Oh, I got a couple more things.
Oh, okay.
Also, we mentioned yesterday about the UTR thing, the Universal Tennis Rating, and how it was kind of a bogus statistic. We did have another one of those, trying to sell you this system in front of the Rublev-Medvedev match. Rublev was a 15.69 UTR. Medvedev's was a 15.86. So Medvedev had the 60% chance of winning based upon that. Again, I think it's Woogus who gives a shit.
UTR really yeah.
But nonetheless, they were right for once here. Yesterday, by the way, when we left doing the show, we took a trip to a town called Battery. That's really close to where we live. If you've ever seen the movie Forrest Gump, that's where they filmed the scenes with the shrimp boats. Battery is a shrimping area. Anyway, we were driving down the street. This is why I have the alien shirt on. So we were driving down the street, and there was a bald eagle, like flying. We were on this road, and there's like nothing but trees. It's like this long, straight road into nowhere. So we were driving, and this bald eagle came right down in front of the car, like keeping speed with us. You could see the white on his head, the white on his tail, the yellow talons hanging down. He veered over, snatched up a squirrel. Total carnage. We were like, ooh, nature.
That was sad, yeah.
So the reason why I bring this up is about 5 minutes later, we were at a bank. We had to stop at the bank. So I'm sitting there, and Carla's sitting there, and the kids are in the back. And I see a seagull, like right out the window, flying in circles. And I'm like, hey, guys, look at that seagull. It's a pretty bird. And the kids are like, oh. And all of a sudden, I look up, and I see this hawk like tuck its wings in and come straight down at the seagull. Like a missile. Boom! Knocked the seagull right out of the sky. Feathers went everywhere. He jumped down on top of the seagull and started just tearing it up. So the reason why I thought about that is we saw the carnage that happened yesterday, and then we saw the carnage that happened last night. So, I mean, damn.
Why was Medvedev cramping? I mean, really? Like, he didn't play a whole match? Was it that hot?
The heat. And when you're thin, like Medvedev is, like I am, we tend to cramp if we're not set in terms of putting supplements back on our body. I did watch some of Andreescu's match at the Phillip Island or whatever that tournament is called. I just have to reiterate something. The stupid scrunchy bracelet thing on her arm, it's cheesy. I just wish she would get rid of that thing. She's not 12 years old anymore. Don't you think?
Maybe, I don't know.
It's so cheesy.
You can't knock on her for that.
It's so cheesy.
Good point, Gene. Rublev does get intimidated. He does get intimidated by the top players. I mean, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. If
I should have some salt crackers. Isn't that a lack of salt in the heat that makes you cramp?
Can be.
Yeah?
There's, my dad thinks this is horse crap, but a lot of people in the baseball world, at least when we were training our kids for baseball, drink pickle juice. Because it has a high salt and vinegar content. I will let Philip or my dad answer.
I mean, I cramped playing indoors. It wasn't hot.
Yeah. It's just fatigue.
It wasn't hot.
Also, too, aside from, again, that stupid, cheesy, crunchy hairband on Andreescu's arm, didn't one of our boy students come out one day? Didn't Gabe Perkins come out to the court one day?
Gabe, you just got called out.
He was trying.
It was his girl. It was his girl.
He was trying to copy that. Also,
did Collins win? I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah, she won there.
Collins looking good for her first WTA title. Which one? And the same thing.
Yeah,
Phillip
Island
Trophy.
Yeah,
so she's gonna face Andreescu.
I don't know. That's a great question. Also, Roger Federer will return to the court in March, playing in Dubai and Doha. Federer has a long history there. Good for him. Again, even though I'm a fan, you understand that. It doesn't help Good. I'm glad.
Playing Casakina. Thank you, Gene.
Yeah, I'm glad Federer will come back and everybody can watch him play until he can't play anymore. And maybe he wins Doha, and maybe he wins Dubai. But Wugis, who really cares? Great. I'm glad to see him back. But in terms of why we do the show, who's winning, who's hot, and who's not, I don't see him doing anything at Wimbledon. I mean, second week, sure, but I don't think he makes the final or win it.
Right.
If Federer does win Wimbledon, there's something I've wanted for a long time. I'm fond of tattoos, but Carla won't let me get any more. But if Federer were to win Wimbledon, my nickname for Carla is Triple L, LLL, Triple L. That's what I call her, Triple L. I will be getting my Triple L tattoo. Understand?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No.
Triple
Gene
L.
says other semifinals: Buskova versus Andreescu. Should be an interesting match. Rotterdam entry list looks stacked.
I wanted to give a correction to ESPN last night. I was watching a match on ESPN, and Jason Goodall and Brad Gilbert were commenting. I like both of them. This has nothing to do with them, but they mentioned that Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer had never smashed a racket. Correction, Roger Federer definitely has smashed a racket. I watched the match, and for a while I was trying to find out how I could get my hands on that racket. I sell stuff on eBay, so I really was trying to get my hands on that racket. It didn't happen. 2009 Miami playing Djokovic, Federer smashed a racket. They did correct that later on in the broadcast. They were like, oh, we have some breaking news in. But I'm surprised two people like that didn't know something like that most people do know.
Okay.
Anyway, last thing I have, and then I'm going to update the fantasy team, announce what we're going to do for the French, and it's big. Sue Shea and Rafael Nadal have something in common. There's an old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We talked about yesterday, Sue Shea hits with the same old racket, right? She hits with the same old strings for years on end, right? I heard she broke a string and freaked out because she had never broken a string before. But look at Rafael Nadal's shoes. I'm a sneakerhead. I buy and sell shoes, used ones, and then retail them, whatever. So I look at shoes, so you call me a sneakerhead, I guess. But if you look at Nadal's shoes, she got the new ones.
No Rafa this time. Osaka this time.
There you go. She got the Osaka shoes. But Rafael Nadal has stuck with the same line of his cage shoes for many, many years. He still wears the cage model from 7 or 8 years ago, and he just has Nike change the coloration because Nadal's shoe, I know I have a pair on, they aren't that way. And so I look for them, but you can't ever find them. Serena Williams' shoes the same way. Tell me if you find Serena's shoes for sale because it's impossible to find. But they both play with the same thing. That goes to show you their meticulousness. Saying, hey, if it works now, let's not change that. All right? Any comments you want to take before I break down the fantasy teams?
No, I'm at 9%. So.
All right. Here is a fantasy team update for the fantasy teams. Remember, the top two point accumulators or top two players win the same thing. Make sure the phone's good.
It's good.
Top two win. Okay, the same thing. All right. Whether you want the cash, the strings, the Australian Open shirt, only have one of those. So we'll say if you're in first and we only have one of these, then let's go give it to the person first. So that's an actual Australian Open shirt from the gift shop there from last year. All right, in fifth place, Dusan Dramokanin with 66 points and 4 players left. Djokovic, Karatsev, Osaka, and Brady. It's going to be very tough for him to win here. He does have Karatsev. And by the way, shout out to Dusan. I do the manual scoring for this, and Dusan has actually helped us tremendously by creating an Excel sheet and a platform that will add it up by computer. So thank you for that. Fifth place. Millennium 13 Constantine. Now check this one out. This is a record-breaking type thing, even though he's in 4th place. Millennium 13 Constantine has 69 points, 7 players left. Now remember, there's only 8 players left in the tournament, right? That's the beauty of it. He's a bit behind, though, because he selected his maximum amount of 1-point players, so that's kept him behind. But he has 7 of 8 players left. He has Medvedev, Djokovic, Tsitsipas, Karatsev. Incredible. That's the semifinals. Serena, Osaka, and Brady. Incredible. He can overtake to win, but he really needs to have no errors because there's 3 people in front of him that have more to say than that. Great job, Millennium. Record-breaking 7 out of 8 left. Incredible. Jose P. is tied for second with curling tennis. They both have 73 points. Jose P. has the following players left, 4 of them. Djokovic, Osaka, Muchova, and Brady. Curling tennis, 73 points. 3 players left, though. He has Djokovic, Osaka, and Brady. The leader Seoul in first place by 4 points as Looneyvids. Curling tennis was in the lead for the most part of this tournament. Looneyvids took the lead with 77 points and 5 players left. He has a perfect semifinal on the men's side with Djokovic, Medvedev, Tsitsipas, and Karatsev, and has Brady on the women's side. It's anyone's game here. The 69, 73, 73, and 77 all have a chance. Dushan, it's really not possible, honestly, but I still wanted to give you a shout out for your work. But truly, Millennium, Jose, Curling Tennis, and Looney Vids are going to be one of the 2 winners, I can assure you. Anyway, for the tennis racket giveaway and the big news, because Barty lost last night, the remaining 6 people all had Barty, okay? Sergeant Jovanovic, Team Groves, Jose P, JMP 1966, Furzy 09, and Curling Tennis all had Barty going to the final. That removed everyone from the tennis racket giveaway for this tournament and or the cash. What I'm going to do is this.
Brandon, thank you. I will look for the shoes. He says you can find them. They're called Nike Flare and Nike Flare 2.
Awesome. We've looked for this for years.
Yeah.
Great job. If they have them in men's too, let me know. All right. I knew this tournament, we knew this tournament would be very difficult to predict. That's why we went, instead of, like just a little bit of cash, we were like, if someone can do this, we'll buy them a brand new tennis racket, whichever they want, or up to $100 in cash value. The French Open is difficult too. So what I'm going to do is for the French Open, for the tennis racket giveaway, and I'll do a video for that when the time comes, but we'll do the same thing, exactly the same 18 players for the other prizes, the strings, the shirts, whatever. But for the big prize, guessing the finalists and predicting the winners, I'm going to do $200 in cash or a tennis racket of your choice. So for the French Open, when it begins, I suggest hitting
they're cheap.
I suggest hitting the subscribe button. That's your only qualification. I'm going to do $200 US in cash sent directly to you, or any tennis racket of your choice. So I'm doubling the cash. And I know a lot of people would rather have the cash in the racket. I mean, that goes without saying. I would too. But sometimes, rackets to some people are $250, $300, and we tend to get them for cheaper because of different reasons. But anyway, $200 in cash. Everybody in?
I'm getting a pair. Okay.
200 in cash. All right, everyone, that is it. Much love to all of you. Much love. Without you, there is no us, because it's pretty much your stuff that we talk about. So thank you very much for that. And we will see you tomorrow, right? Tomorrow?
Yep.
So tomorrow's a free day, so our show will be at 11 tomorrow. Remember, Saturday and Sunday, we are totally booked with lessons. So let us know in comments if you would rather us do a live show, no matter what the time is, even if it just happens. You might just pick up your phone or your computer, and it might say they're just on and you didn't know about it. So would you rather us do it live or just record one and download it when we can?
Team Grove said the women's at Roland Garros is especially tough.
What?
To pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why he anteed it up.
Yeah, and what I may do, Team Groves, and I thought about this too. We were talking about that last night. I told her we're going to double it because of the Barty loss. I had Barty going to the final and winning it. I was really sad about that. I was really hoping that Barty would end the Australian drought, and it just didn't happen. Anyway, sorry to the Australians out there.
Tonight should be a blockbuster.
Tonight's match, yes. Tonight's match, who are you choosing? Logically, who do you think is going to win? Not who do you hope. Who do you think is going to win?
Osaka, but I won't.
Yeah, I think Osaka wins. I would like Serena to win because she does deserve that record. But for Team Groves, talking about
does anybody else play tonight besides that?
Yeah, in the morning, Djokovic and Karatsev, right?
Let's see.
Yeah, they play
Thursday. They're scheduled to play at 2:30 a.m.
Yeah, that's tonight. That's in the middle of the night. All right. So, but Team Groves mentioned that picking the women's at the French Open is nearly impossible. We talked about this.
Muchova and Brady play the same day.
So what we may do is say select 3 out of 4 finalists and both winners, or maybe all 4 finalists and 1 winner. So we might change up the need for perfection, right? So we'll think about that between now and the French. But $200 is the prize, no matter what happens. Cash sent to you, secure source, PayPal, Venmo, Western Union, mail you a check if that works. I don't think that's a really safe thing to do either, but we'll get it to you. But we may do something like, hey, pick 3 out of 4 finalists and both winners, or 3 out of 4 finalists and 1 winner. Matt Cain out there.
You're the only one that's done it.
And
there was another guy too. Him
and this format
in Wimbledon, there was 2 of them that were competing. They picked the same exact thing, and we had to go with.
Yeah, over the past 3 years, I've sent out about 4 rackets. That's about $1,500 worth of stuff. I've definitely sent out 4 rackets, and we do send that out ourselves. That comes from us and on our work and blah, 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 blah. So that comes from us. But it will be doubled up for the French. All right. Let's go, guys. Come on. And we'll see you tomorrow at 11.
11
and let us know in comments.
Same on Friday. We can do 11 too Friday.
So the next 2 days we can do 11.
Yeah,
Okay, so Thursday, Friday, 11. And
I
then
think Saturday for them would be, Sunday would be over. So Saturday would be the only day.
Yeah. Let us know in comments. The last show that we won't be able to do at 11 because we'll be on court all day. Let us know if you want us to do it live or just record it and post it. The beautiful thing about live is we can interact and talk. Post it is just us, and then you have to respond in comments. So let us know in comments. See you later, guys. Take care.
Bye.